Every high and crushing low taught me something invaluable: resilience. I began documenting my journey, recording every lesson and every step towards rebuilding my success and my mental, even if no one else was watching. I didn't know where this path would lead, but I had Frank, Rosario, and the memories of everything I built and lost, fueling my determination. What you're about to see is my journey, the highs, the lows, and every moment in between, captured during a time when I was all alone, but never defeated. I'm going to get back to being a millionaire. No matter what, I will make it.
Okay, I think it's time I make another video for the month. It is October 27th. Can you guys see that? Oops. October 27th, Friday at 6:10 p.m. Let's see what we're looking at right now. I haven't even checked this for the day. Bitcoin is at $33,887, and Ethereum is at Ethereum's at 1779. I'm waiting for it to pull up. Connection's not really that great over here. 17,000 or 1780. Okay. So as you can tell, with anything crypto related right now, everything spiked up in the last week or so because of earnings, because of everything else. The economy's kind of, being a bit weird. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Crypto is whatever right now, and I have a couple investments and stuff like that, but it's just small time stuff, stuff that I'm going to hold for the next couple years. So I don't think it's really anything to talk about unless things actually start to happen. So let me explain a couple things. I think in my last video I talked about how bad shit has gotten with the construction stuff. So let me start there. So with Frank and the construction company stuff, I mean, I don't know what to say at this point. So things have gotten a lot worse. First off, again, we didn't get Morella, so that really put a damper on things. We got a 40K suit. Somebody filed a suit against the company for the insurance that hasn't been paid from a while back, like 2 years back, or not the insurance not being paid, but just inaccurate, I guess. I don't exactly know the full details on that. Then we have the case with the house right next to us, or the house that we came from, that's still being proceeded between our current attorney and the past attorney that we had, Maureen and Mike. So that's still a whole legal thing in the background. The crazy kid that was supposed to pay us our money, we are filing a lien soon. We sent the demand orders and whatnot a couple of days ago, and he gave us 10K out of the full 34. The only problem with that is that I haven't spoken to Frank yet about any of the stuff, because also what happened in the last week or so is that Sonny, the dog that we have, Frank's pet, he's a Schnauzer. He's 13 years old, and for whatever reason, at some point in time, he ate something outside, and it just wasn't good for him. Maybe it had bones in it. I don't know. No one really knows at this point, but I mean, all this past week or so, he's been just miserable, just, from, pooping up, black stools to just limping and, going to the vet, them saying that he only has a 50-50 chance of surviving this. I have no clue, and that's been hard on a lot of us, but mostly hard on Frank. And it's put him in a mindset again where he hasn't been able to do anything. Not only that, but he hasn't been taking any of his pain pills, which is a good thing. I haven't explained this before, but he's been on these pills for years. I'm talking about 10, 12 years. And at this point, it's pretty much an addiction. And, it's made him need them. And, part of me wants to see him really just get off of them. So for the past week or so, I think, we've been so broke that he hasn't been able to actually get any pills. And so he's been kind of out of it as far as like going to sleep earlier and all the other stuff, because he hasn't had them, which is a good thing, but it's a bad thing because of the timing. Everything is really bad timing right now. And we're also not getting jobs right now either. So it's a combination of a bunch of things right now where I don't know if the business is actually going to make it through this. I don't know if the legal stuff, we have so much legal stuff to deal with right now that it's insane. It is insane. And I really don't know how that's going to pull through. And then not only that, next month, so in the next, next couple of weeks, I have to go down to San Diego, and I'm going to see my my grandparents for Thanksgiving, and hopefully my uncle. I talked about this last episode, but my uncle has cancer, and it just gotten really bad. Now he has a tumor on his back, and he was admitted to the hospital at first, and then he went over to a healthcare facility that's helping him out now. And the sad thing is, my mom told me that he only has 3 months. This was like a couple of weeks ago, that he has 3 months left, and it should be good. So by the time I get there, maybe I'll be able to see him and stuff like that. But my grandmother told me yesterday that there's a very high possibility that he's not going to even make it the next 20 days. More or less, right? Or that he's just not going to be there at Thanksgiving. So tomorrow I got to make a heavy-hearted call to him. I really, one thing to note about me is I really don't like doing calls, because emotion doesn't cross through. Like, if it was like a video call, then sure, but emotion doesn't exactly cross through when you're doing, when you're just calling. And I feel like, for me, it's something I have to see to kind of really feel. I don't know when this changed. I don't think I was always this way, but I mentioned it before in a previous episode about my empathy. I like to see somebody's facial like expressions and stuff, because it allows me to understand and feel for them, versus calling, where all I can do is I can really only. Now in this case, because it's cancer and everything, and because I was so close, like it's different. But for somebody who's a little bit further away, like further away from me, it's harder for me to really express or even have more concern in a way. Not that I don't feel it, but it's like, for me to really express it, I would much rather. I'm more emotionally there, right? I'm more emotionally there when I can understand their face, their facial expressions, their reactions, because it gives me an understanding of that. Without that, I don't really have that much context into it. Not. If that makes sense, does that, like when you're farther away, like if it was like an old friend of mine, and I was just calling them, I couldn't express or understand like how they've been doing, or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so much better just to feel that in person or see their facial expressions, because then I could really understand. I'm like, oh, it's really been a long time, or they start crying, I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like it's just a whole different experience when it's I can see their face, I can see their expressions, I get to understand a little bit better the context of of how they feel. So with him, it's different, because I've actually had experiences with him, and he's always shown strength where most people show weakness, and I really admire that. And I feel like, and this is part of the stuff that I'm going to tell him tomorrow, but I really do feel like most of the men in my life have taught me something, whether good or bad. Most of the like role models, or the men who have showed me bad role models, have shown me what not to be and what I should go for. And a lot of times there's aspects even of the guys who haven't been really good role models. There are like qualities that I understand that they do have that are good. One example I'll mention, just for the sake of argument, is back in the day when my mom was dating and stuff like that, after my dad and my mom got separated, there was this guy my mom was dating that was not great for her, right? You know, did a lot of, you know, questionable and kind of scary things. But one thing that and obviously that he's somebody I do not want to be a role model for me at all. But one thing I have in my mind that I take, you know, I think that was good, that he had, was his style for dressing. I think he was good at that. I think he was good at his dressing and understanding, you know, I kind of want to say what women wanted, as far as, you know, clean dressing, being clean, having style, you know, stuff like that. I mean, it's very minimal, but I understand, like, that's something I taken from somebody who isn't a good role model, but something positive that I was like, you know what, he actually has some style. I mean, that's the best thing that I could take from that. So even though there are people that are really bad role models as far as leadership and stuff like that, I do find that, you know, some people, even if they have really bad qualities, you know, there are good qualities that you could take from you can learn from people who have a majority of bad qualities, you know. And I do feel that sometimes people can change as well. So I never, like, 100% like just like hate somebody. I feel like that's too strong, and you should never have hate in your heart unless, you know, they did something that's just vile, you know, killing somebody for no reason, that sort of thing. So there's that. But back to my main point, I don't know how this business is gonna make it, to be honest. I'm having, I wouldn't say doubts, it's just, you know, realistic expectations. If we're not getting jobs, if we're not getting new jobs, and we're losing a lot of money, and, you know, people aren't paying us, and we have a whole bunch of legal stuff, I really don't see how we're able to really get out of a situation like this. And so, you know, I've been working on some stuff, you know, for myself. I've been Ubering, I've been doing Shipt, I've been trying to save just as much little money I can. I have to fix my car in the next week, and then after that, then I'll be able to actually kind of save a little bit. And Frank still owes me a little bit of money, so if we do get some money, then if I can get just a tiny bit off of that, then that works. You know, all this stuff adds up. And I've been trying to apply for jobs and haven't been able, for whatever reason, I have not been able to land any interview. And it's different job markets: computers, tech, phone sales, so like selling phones and stuff. I mean, I've done pretty much all of it, and I have no clue. I have no clue why, you know, I haven't got one interview. So it's just, it's interesting stuff. Besides that, I mean, it's just weird. It's a weird system. I know that we have some positive stuff coming probably in January and end of December, but we really have to get through these next 2 months. If we can get through these next 2 months, then I think we can make it out. But if we can't get through these next 2 months, it's done. It's literally over. And the bad thing about this is that Frank's at the very top, and everyone below him, you know, we all rely right now on the income of a 5-star. And the problem with that is that a 5-star isn't 100% set up to really, it's not set up the way it needs to be. And obviously that all started from the very beginning. So all this past stuff is catching up. And I don't know. It's just a hard time. So what I'm trying to do is find ways to curb that in case of worst case scenario. I already told you, Uber, Ship, trying to get myself set up with there, trying to get my food stamps back, trying to get my medical insurance set up again. I think I have to renew that just so that way I'm good there. And trying to get so what I've been doing a secret project. I have 3 projects, sorry. I have my YouTube channel, the Jeffrey one. I haven't talked about that last episode because the problem with that is that because the guys left, so the company just kind of like, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is with me and joining companies that just crash and just die out, but it's so fucking annoying. And the devs, for whatever reason, they didn't update the app so that way people can actually use their own API for the voices. So I have to do everything manually, and I have one more episode of Jeffrey left as far as in the app, because I can go from in-app stuff to animation in a bit. And I want to try to be able to cross that on the finale, but I haven't been able to do that yet. And so I haven't been able to have time to do the manual part of doing that, because it takes probably 3 times as long to do that versus how it normally is. And so it's crazy. And then the second one is my music channel. I think I've talked about this way back, but it's a channel that I upload just music, slow, like music stuff. So I've been doing that, and that's been okay, I guess. And it recently just popped off, but I need more subscribers, and then if that goes good, then I could actually make decent amount of money on that from that. So probably won't be much, maybe like a couple dollars a day, but it's something, And then last but not least, I have a secret project that I've been doing in the last 2 to 3 days that has been something that I really hope pops off. It has to do with crystal meaning cards. I watched a video on it and I was like, oh, this could be easy. And I go and start doing it. I'm like, wait, it's not easy at all, actually. So like one thing that I thought it was going to take maybe like 1 or 2 days. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is easy. And then I go and start doing the prints and making all the things. And I want to do it 100% correct, because I've done my research and stuff, and I've seen that, most people at the very minimum, they make about $50 a day, or like let's just say $25 a day. That's like 1 sale a day. And, that's pretty good for passive income. Like just mediocre $25 a day times, that's about $600, $700 a month that you don't have to do anything for. Shit, we'll just even say $500 a month. If I can make $500 a month just passively, no having to do anything, that's fine. I'm cool with that, right? So there's people that are making way more than that, obviously, but just I'm setting my expectations. $500 a month is cool. And these people are making really good money off of it, and it's a one-time kind of thing. Maybe you provide support and stuff, but it's a really good business model. And so I really want to try my hand at doing this and see what I can do. And if it goes higher, if it goes lower, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's something that's passive. And then I could scale that by basically doing the same thing, but putting it in a different form. So like right now I'm doing like 2 by 3.5 inch business cards, but I can actually scale that to actual playing cards, which is what I want to do. But you need a specific printer that's maybe about $500-$600 to basically print the cards on, and then I would have to ship those cards as well. So it'd be very interesting to have like a physical product that I could actually sell out, and then every week I would take the orders, right, and ship from the actual orders, which would be really interesting. So I think overall, if I can go ahead and just make this first listing and see how it does, and if it does make, let's say, $500 a month, then I can go ahead and reinvest that and buy a printer, and then go ahead and make the actual cards and make that into a physical product that I can start shipping out. And then once I do that, then I can go ahead and probably do it in bulk, or hire somebody to make the cards for me, and then basically just do it that way, especially if I have a lot of orders. Now, if I only have, let's say I only have, I don't know, 10, I don't know, let's just say like 100 orders. No, let's just say like 10 orders a week, then I could easily just do that. You know, I just make 10 sets of cards and get it done. Spend one day, do the cards, and then ship them out maybe like 3 days later after all the orders come in for the week. So, I mean, there's scaling possibility here. I don't know what the margins would be or anything like that, but I just know that it could be really good. It could be really, really profitable. And for those actual cards, I'd probably charge maybe like $100 for them, or like yeah, probably like 100, because if I have to ship them out as well, unless the buyer pays for the shipping, then I could just put everything into one, right? Ship them out for like, you know, $20-$30 or whatever, and still make $70 profit on just one order. So anyways, that's gonna be it for today. I will come back with probably another video in a week or so once November hits, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So take it easy, have a good one.
Should have stayed. Were the signs I ignored? Can I help you not to hurt anymore? We saw brilliance when the world was asleep.
We don't want to let him lose, because Frank has his sister over, and she has 2 dogs. So
Have, but can't keep. If they say, who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars?
Sonny.
Flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. The reminders pull the floor from your feet. In the kitchen.
So if you thought the video was good, please give it a like and share. It really helps. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see the rest of the story unfold. This project is so close to my heart, and your support keeps it going. Thanks so much. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time in the archives of a Shiba Millionaire.